Not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous.
Tonight on Ghost Tourist. Hi, this is Scott.
And I'm Cindy.
And we're Ghost Tourists.
When we travel, we visit haunted locations.
So we can tell you if they're spooky or dooky.
What are we doing tonight? It's almost 11 o'clock on a brisk summer evening. In America, we've paid for a paranormal investigative tour. Investigative? So, not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous. Scott, are you nervous? Are you like thinking, this is gonna be nothing?
So it's Labor Day weekend. I want to hear you all excited for this tour. Are y'all ready?
Yeah! So our nighttime ghost host was who?
Hayden!
Alright, let's go on in.
And then there was the other guy.
The other guy who we'll call guy
The
number
other guy.
2. Or we can just call him the other guy.
So I'm not going first. I'm too scared. Who wants to go first? Go on in.
Mr. and Mrs. Whaley, thank you for letting us join your house.
So this is exclusive access that you get on this tour. The general public does not get to sit here. I'm just gonna start setting up stuff. The reason I do this is because I don't want it to seem like this house is staged at all.
Who is it that asked why is it the most haunted house?
I said,
Yeah.
or how do you know? How do they know?
So the most common answer is consistency. I've worked in a building for a year at night once, and in that building I did see books fly off the shelf, and it might happen once a month, once every 6 weeks. In here, something happens every issue, and so that's why they deem it the most haunted house.
There it goes.
But they were helpful in showing us lots of different gadgets like
EMF detectors and
thermal camera, REM pods.
Is it typical for the REM pods to be going off like that?
It's active
pretty
tonight.
active tonight.
And a gadget that was like a music box almost. And
Oh,
like
yeah.
when some electromagnetic energy approached it, it would start playing music. And supposedly this gadget played like all night long. And they said that wasn't
They also
common.
had something that projected a red grid, like a laser grid over the room. But what do they do? Like, how do they work?
So the way they work is the way it's
No, I'm gonna use all of that.
I know. See, you are. You're gonna make me sound like a dolt.
And so supposedly then you could see fluctuations if there was something moving around the room.
It would cover the grid, and so that you could see the spirit moving.
Is there a spirit of a judge in this room with us right now?
And we saw
Nothing.
nothing.
Notice as I'm walking, you kind of hear creaks in the floor as we shift our weight. And the courtyard is open, so we hear voices out there. Call that out just so it's not false voices.
And with that clearly stated caveat, we began our EVP session.
Why are you still here in this house?
You can ask it again.
Yeah, I want to know why you're still here.
Is somebody upstairs? You want to come down to the dining room and join us?
And with that startling evidence, we headed upstairs to the theater.
Now to go into the theater. Ooh, I've never seen this before. That's creepy.
What?
So there's a light here. I'm going to turn it on. Usually that light's on. And this is the first investigation I've had where that's off. There we go.
I like that much better.
Me too. So up here is the theater. And you're like, why is the theater randomly in the house? house? Because Thomas Whaley was a businessman. So he rented out his second floor to the Tanner Tree. And Thomas Tanner sold out the very first night, 2 weeks later, when Thomas Tanner would have passed away. Over this master bedroom right over here.
There we saw his tombstone right before
At
it.
the Campo Santo cemetery next door.
And so it's true. He really died. I guess that's,
And he's really buried
he's
somewhere.
really there.
I'm gonna sound like I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs right now, but give me some credit. I've been doing investigations here for months on end, so I feel like a cold spot right here. Like someone has their hand like that. But right over here, you take the EMF detector over here, it's just gonna light up. There's no electric, like there's no exposed wires or anything. Nothing over here that can interact with it. Before this house was even built, this used to be where the San Diego execution grounds were. James Robinson, Yankee Jim, was stood at 6'4".
Oh.
But they would have hung him like he was a regular sized man, so the rope would have been measured wrong for him.
So he worked with stupid?
So yeah, he basically struggled, like his feet were just like... Took him over 20 minutes to pass away. Thomas Whaley would have witnessed all this. So Thomas Whaley came back to this property and decided to build his house on the property. And where James Robinson would have hung would have been where this living room stands. Actually, where we see this archway here.
Now, at one point there was this weird unearthly moan. Do we know what that could have been coming from?
It wasn't a moan. It was a gurgle.
Violet Whaley, she did not know this until she got the letter. When she was 22 years old. Man.
My stomach.
Oh, I get that all the time too. Sorry.
That wasn't a ghost. That was my stomach.
That's alright. It's good to keep things light,
Right.
especially, you know,
Right.
with the story that I'm telling.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Nothing to be sorry about.
It was quite embarrassing because everybody was listening for ghosts.
And they heard.
Then,
Violet Whaley, she would have tried to drown herself in the well, and I don't like to say it this way, but she was unsuccessful. 3 months later, she was shot herself out in the outhouse. She shot herself. She would have missed her heart. Her dad, hearing this, would have ran out to the outhouse, carried her through the back door, through this threshold, and made her where this couch now sits. It would have taken her over 20 minutes to pass away.
And then as the clock ticked down the last few seconds to midnight,
We're going to go on to our own individualized investigations.
our host sent us out in the house alone.